here.
Okay, now, to me, the real meat on this bone,
All right.
is the fact that every politician in Congress has a constituency that's got a problem with infrastructure in America. That makes this different. This infrastructure thing,
Yeah.
different. It's a different kind of beast now because it's something that does affect all of us. It affects Chappie just as much as it affects you and me, and it affects Kent Frank just as much as it affects Chappie and you and me.
Right.
So, now, I don't expect you to read through this right now. Well, I mean, we'll read it.
Well, why don't you discuss it with me? Discuss it openly. We'll just discuss it right now. Just tell me.
Well, the thing is that the Trump wants to meet about funding on the border wall. All right.
Right.
He wants to go back to the now, but he wants to, but in order to do it, the Democrats are saying that today they got to talk about infrastructure, and the wall could actually be looked at as infrastructure. The problem that he is having with this is that in order to start the talks, Pelosi and Schumer have set terms that he doesn't like, and I want to talk about what those terms are and why he wouldn't like it. All right.
All right. Go ahead.
Essentially, here's what they call it. They call it priorities for working together. And here are the three main points. One, America's unmet infrastructure needs are massive and bipartisan, and therefore a massive and bipartisan infrastructure must meet those needs with substantial, new, and real revenue. So, the point number one is this is a big motherfucker, and we need a lot of new money to do it. Okay? But Trump does not. So let's just stop right here on this one point.
Well, here's the thing. I want whenever these politicians get to doing this, and we're going to need new money or some money from somewhere to do this. We don't know where it's going to come from. And one of them always comes up with, well, we'll just take it away from the people on Social Security. Hey, you are giving me money I already gave you a piece at a time and praying to God that I die before I get it all. Leave our Social Security alone. It's not your money.
No, it's not.
And Medicare. Oh, don't get me started. Okay, Medicare. Oh, well, we're going to give you Medicare, free medical, except you can't get your teeth pulled, you can't get your eyes looked at, you can't fix your hemorrhoids, and you damn sure can't get no Viagra, okay?
Yeah, you're not getting any prescription.
No. If you can't buy it at HEB, you ain't gonna get it.
You remember when George Bush gave all those pharmaceuticals away to people on Medicare? What happened to that? I mean, between then and now, what happened to that? Do you know? I don't.
It's just like it was dug up in the annals of history back in those days that he actually allowed a few $1 billion to secure the border. And the Congress said, yeah, we want to do that. They're kill all them Mexicans. Okay, yeah. But they never moved the money over. And the money's gone. But, you know what I mean? They do these things, and they never tell us. And then, like the redacted Mueller, you just spent $30 million of our money raking this guy over the coals. You come back, and you basically say, well, we really ain't got nothing. I mean, nothing going on here and everything. Well, we want to see the report. Well, you can't see it all because I was screwing my secretary, and somebody mentioned it during the hearings, and I don't anybody know that, so we're going to redact that.
Well, what they did, let's face it, what congressional leaders are saying to the members of Congress is, to the people, they're saying this. They're saying, we want to investigate the president, but we don't want to impeach him.
Well, I think what we got going there too is Pelosi, and as bad as some Republicans don't like Pelosi, she's a tried and purified old Democrat. Okay, she's been around politics since JFK, and she went through the Clinton impeachment, and she's basically saying, "I'm not going through that again, especially not while I'm Speaker of the House." So, if you a little bit scarf on your head, a little bit bartender, we're not even going there. We're not even going to go there. We got another 18 months, and we're going to put this guy out of office by the voting process. But to impeach the president and succeed, oh my God! You talk about then the country would be split right down the Mississippi River, just like you said yesterday.
It already is.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're not going to have any big blowout avalanche type things. It's going to be a squeaker, one way or the other.
I think you're right. I think you're right there. The feelings are so high and so hot right now. You know what the problem is you get all these people, Democrats and Republicans, on both sides of the issue, and they talk all this crap while they're sitting behind their keyboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock, you will not find them down at the polling. You'll find all these old people in wheelchairs. I know. I've been there, okay? And God help you if you're a Democrat in Texas and Ted tries to go down and vote, Oh, my God, you misspelled your first name. We're just have to go throw that one out.
Yeah.
You might have said, I'm a registered Democrat, and you might have voted for Trump. I didn't give a damn.
You done the inside envelope and blue ink.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So we talked for about 10 minutes there and still could not, we really could not address the fact that there needs to be substantial new.
Absolutely.
We're agreed, sir, that infrastructure is a critical problem. It's been a critical problem. So let me raise another question.
Well, let's talk about, you're talking about roads and things like that, right?
Yes, I'm talking about, I'm talking
all right.
about roads.
Ted, as a former truck driver, you're an expert. As a former truck, I've heard you when you call me from your truck, and you're dodging water buffaloes on the road and shit. This is a real problem. You and I have drove through the Escalante, all right?
Right.
Porter Rockwell had an easier time going through there. And he was on a horse.
Well, I know that we've got killer bridges in this country now. That's something we didn't used to have. When I first started driving a truck, there was no such thing as a killer bridge. But we've got them now. Mm-hmm. And it's because the point where the bridge meets the abutment has sheared away enough that now you've got a big triangular piece of pavement missing. And people hit those things and go flipping over the railing all the time.
Well, you know what's bad? What's really bad? There are, when you go to Rome, and there's I don't know what the building is, it's got a big dome on it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it was built by the Romans, which means that when Jesus was walking around giving the Sermon on the Mount, that thing was there, okay? And it's still there. The concrete is solid. The Romans made better concrete than we did.
They did. They did. They knew more about it. They were more patient in letting it set. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They did make better concrete than we do now. Almost all of their underwater architecture is intact.
Exactly. The freaking pyramids. Now, the Arabs came along and stole all of the granite, the shiny granite, and built houses out of it, but the core is still there. It's still there. We don't, a lot of time, we have this in industry all the time. Up 737 MAX. Need I say more? They removed the very devices and software that would tell the pilot when it was screwing up so he would be able to make adjustments. They did that. And Boeing, 2 days ago, we kind of accidentally removed that. And instead of telling the pilot that the jack screw was screwing up, it just flew the airplane straight into the ground. Both airplanes, that's one thing that they realized, Both airplanes pointed nose down and flew 600 miles an hour straight into the ground. Now, get this. They were in the takeoff configuration. They hadn't reached 30,000 feet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're only supposed to be going, until 10,000 feet, they're only supposed to be going about 250 miles an hour. Both planes were in that configuration and going 600 miles an hour. And Boeing saying, well, we kind of don't know what happened there. Your plane went balls to the wall, pointed itself at the ground, and flew straight into the ground. Now, that's what really, I ain't never going to fly, if I see a woman in an airport carrying a box of maxi pads, I'm not getting on that airplane. It's bad enough that I got to get jerked off by the TSA every time I go up there. I'm not going to get killed.
Well, why the max? I mean, why?
What they did, they tried. All right, back in the day, pilots got on there and sit their butt in the seat, and they had a yoke, and they had two pedals at their feet, and they could feel the plane and that kind of stuff, and they had the back wings, they had to constantly keep adjusting them and all that. Then if you look at Monacour's videos when he shows the way he's flying, there's these two spinning wheels between him and the co-pilot. Well, that was the automatic adjustment of the back. You don't have to adjust it all the time. There's a little crank, you can do it by hand if you want to. Then they included software when they geared up to take off. The autopilot used to kick in about 20,000 to 30,000 feet if you wanted to. Now it's takeoff configuration, and it'll actually take itself off. Then you push in your numbers, which is a little dial like on the radio. You want to go to Salt Lake from Austin, you dial it to 270 or whatever, and it flies to Salt Lake. And then you push a button, and you say, well, I want to land now. And it finds this radar in Salt Lake, and it follows that radar down like a ramp and lands. Then it said, oh, we got better than that. That little adjustment you always have to make on the tail fin, we're going to make that automatic. So then you got a fully automatic airplane, geared up and ready to go, and it flies into the ground at 600 miles an hour. Your thoughts?
So somewhere down the line, Boeing made a decision that the 737 MAX was going to be the Chevrolet Impala of continental air traffic in America. And apparently the other countries agreed with that because they bought it too. And then there's a very simple safety device that they could have installed but did not install and rather offered it as an add-on for additional money. Is that not correct?
That's exactly right. Here's the deal. I was a computer programmer in another life. You know that because you worked with me at Globe and watched me do it.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we're going to have to work on this subroutine of some kind that's in the software and everything. Hey, go to, I guess Ford would be, or maybe Chevrolet. Go to Mercedes. They're good. And tell what kind of software do you have in your car when you put on the cruise control and the driver touches the brake pedal and it goes immediately from cruise control to U control. That's all you got to do. All the pilot has to do is plane be going down. Plane should not be going down. Grab the yoke and pull it back, and it turns it off. It's as simple as that. Or do your pilots not know how to fly a plane no more?
But that subroutine, which was already written, was hidden in the programming.
Right.
It could only be turned on by a code that you had to buy as the airplane.
Well, the whole thing, I always assumed, I'll tell you the biggest shock I got with Airbus. I flew on an Airbus going up to Salt Lake, okay? And I studied Airbus, and they fly it with a joystick, okay? They had to do a subroutine on there because the joysticks were independent. The co-pilot had one on his right hand, and I think the pilot had one on his left hand. And whatever the pilot or co-pilot did, the other person could overrule it by moving his joystick, okay? Now, number one, I was kind of shocked it was a joystick flying an airplane until I looked into the dang cabin when I got on that Airbus, and there it was, just like my boys or puppets about to play battle games or something, a plastic joystick flying an Airbus, and that's a fact. I saw it with my own eyes.
What's wrong with that?
Well, there's nothing basically wrong with it, except, you realize that you're about to get on an airplane that's got a joystick on it, and you're used to seeing a steering wheel. Maybe it's the right thing to do. I don't know. Now, Montfort, he flies a regular 737, and he has a yoke, okay? But, and something else he did is he got into a flight simulator, and he simulated, including the very airport that the plane took off from in Africa. He simulated the situation. He invoked the software that would make it try to correct its trim, and then he did something. It's complicated, but he did something and just overruled it by doing what he did, and then calmly said, "I just saved the airplane." You know, so it can be done, but nobody. And the Nigerians, and we're gonna really get racial here and anything. I was one that said, "Well, heck, the Nigerians probably don't know how to fly anyway." No, they've got some of the best pilots in the world. They live, breathe, and bleed training. These guys were trying to save that plane all the way to the ground. They were doing. They had the manual out. They had everything. It is still. They didn't know. They were not told what to do to save their plane. They didn't have the training.
Well, the fact that we've been unable to address point number one here.
Yeah, ain't that a bitch?
The whole conversation does not bode well for the congressional stuff.
Well, it segues in if you look at it like this. The same thing that's wrong with Boeing. Oh, and by the way, Boeing, instead of having government inspectors inspect the planes and say, "Yes, things will fly," they just let Boeing inspect its own plane. Just kind of like the police department's internal affairs. You know, we had a policeman shoot a black teenager because he had a plastic pistol, but we're turning it over to internal affairs and we're investigating it. Good luck. That's what's wrong with the government, with the infrastructure right there. We're going to turn this over to a congressional subcommittee, and we're going to investigate ourselves to see if we screwed up. Right. We're in the wrong joke here.
Well, we start off in the wrong joke here, and I'll tell you why I think that is. I'll tell you what I think is the real issue, and that is that Trump's budget proposal only put $200 billion into infrastructure. That's what he put in.
200 million, right?
200 billion.
That'll just about handle Bell County. Okay.
Well, it's becoming clear that we can't even build the wall for that. So, I mean, that keeps going up. Every time it goes up about 10 million.
You know what gets me about the wall? One question I ask, and everybody goes, "What are you talking about?" We need to build a wall on the border. Don't we have a wall? I mean, don't we all? What's the border been doing all these years? I know the one down Oxley Wells is a barbed wire fence. Now I know that because I've seen it. Okay, and Obama put a wall down there. But the other 2,000 miles, what's been between us and Mexico all this time? Shouldn't we be repairing the wall, not building it?
One of the things I think that may be part of his deal, but I mean, there's really only one issue about the border, and that is that a wall's not where those people are coming across right now, and into the detention centers and whatnot.
Right.
There's a wall there. They're stopping at the wall. We're letting them cross that wall and putting them through a gate in that wall. That's what's going on right now.
Well, now one thing they did do about 2 days ago, I forgot to tell you, is the Army Corps of Engineers is down there. I know this to be true because I've been seeing the C-130s fly out of here, okay? And the people who get through, the Army Corps of Engineers is feeding them.
Yep.
And everybody, "Oh my God, they're feeding them." Yes, they're feeding these starving people who walk the 500 miles or more. And there's kids involved, and there's women and pregnant women and everything. And yeah, the Army's giving those people some K rations. Deal with it. Come on.
Well, the issue is that there's a wall there. There's nothing. So why should we build more walls? Why should we build more walls? Not all. It's already not working.
You know what we need to do is everybody's, it's Russian collusion, it's this and that. Now, not that anybody would want to, but how many people get across the Russian border? Okay? How many people break into Russia? I think the number is pretty low. Pretty low. But if you want to collude with the Russians, go ask Putin. Hey, man, how do you keep all them Hungarians out of your country? And see what he says, you know?
Their biggest problem is cutting out of see the places where there are big enough cities and borders in Russia are all doing well economically. So nobody really wants to leave Russia and go to the borders. And the border cities stand both sides of the border. So the into Russia is also sort of part of the country that borders Russia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like for one thing, economically, for Russia is not that much different than most of the former Soviet countries. I don't know.
Well, you got a point there. You got a point there, and I made that point several times. The problem with just the Texas border, I've seen the whole border, but this is you got a third world country, okay, with the biggest superpower in the world right now, right up against each other, and Pablo can sit over there in the third world country and look through the fence or whatever, or through the wall, whatever they got, and he's got a tortilla to eat, and somebody looks just like him is over there leaning on a Lexus with a hottie in the passenger seat, drinking a martini, okay, and eating a big old burrito. And humans are humans. You're going to start figuring out, how can I get over that wall?
Yeah, you've got people right now who are successful. They're successful today because today they're eating K-Resh.
Absolutely. People don't understand. They don't understand. In Narcosito, what we used to do, we were 5 miles from the Mexican border in Death Valley, okay? The Mexicans come through there every night. And when we would cook and have food, we had a table that the bikers put out from the main camp. And all the leftover food and bottles of water, we would set on that table. And it was all gone in the morning, okay? But these people were dropped off on the border by the coyotes. And so Hollywood's just right over there, man. And they strike out through Death Valley, trying to walk to America with no water. No, we've found over 1,600 bodies on the border of Texas so far this year. Okay? And that's just Texas. That's not Oxida. You can actually live walking through South Texas. So even though we were all staunchly away, from that, nobody wanted to see people starve.
Well, I think that what I saw on Facebook reflected what the president was saying, and what I saw on Facebook was white supremacy. I mean, it was David Duke, John Stecker type, KKK, and what I don't understand. This is the thing I don't understand, and I could use some help understanding it. And then at some point maybe we can come back and talk about that infrastructure thing. But for right now, this is something I could use some help understanding. And that is, from the very beginning, I understood looking at the way it was set up, with Clinton on one side and Trump on the other, that the only way that America was going to come through this church is if Trump won. Now, that doesn't mean that we weren't going to have a lot of bite marks on our skin, under our shirt, but we still have our shirt. And so that's how I saw it. Now, so I heard him talking up in Charlottesville. I heard him talking all over the country about immigrants. about the intercontinental flight thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
He just essentially shut down flights coming into the U.S. Over the immigrant issue. And I believe that it was the courts that finally overrode it. If I'm not incorrect about that. And I don't think we've ever had a. Yeah, no, there have been two Supreme Court rulings on that.
Well,
yeah.
Well, the thing, so you remember they call it the Muslim ban. Remember that?
Right. Yeah,
we needed, now, this is going to be unpopular with my liberal friends out there. We needed that, at least that slap in the face to wake up the Muslims who were sane, okay, which is 90%, who are sane, say, look, you guys got a problem here, man. And this guy with the orange haircut is going to shut you down. So you need to fix your problem. Now, we got a court ruling right now, but he's like Muhammad Ali, man. He's up against the rope, and you're like George Foreman, okay? So what you need to do is you need to corral these nuts in your religion so that you can fly back to America safely. And it was a slap. The thing with the borders, the same thing. Last week, the Mexican government itself started arresting the caravans because the people of Mexico, the people were saying, hey, man, they're eating all the tortillas, man.
Yeah, they are.
We ain't got nothing up here. We ain't got shit here. We're waiting on the gringos to come over and go to Boys Town to make a little money. And these people just ate all our food. So the government of Mexico said, okay, well, we're going to fix this. We're going to fix this right now. You need to go back to San Salvador. Man, we're politically attacked down there. We're going to start a revolution, asshole. That's what we do.
Yeah, true. I mean, this, I wouldn't care to guess at the number, but there is certainly a negative number that the Mexico's economy at the end of this year as a result of what's happening this year.
Well,
with those caravans. It's certainly a drain on their economy. There's no question at all.
Mexico has a very good oil deal. Okay, they have oil. People don't know that. People outside of Texas don't know it. I know it every time I pull into Valero and get gasoline, because that's the Valero oil company in Mexico. Okay? But they just don't know they have to send it up here, I guess, to distill it, to refine it. If they would put their money and there's work behind it, like the Saudis did, there's no reason Mexico can't have a lot of money. And I understand that they do make tequila in Texas now, but if you want to drink real tequila, it's going to come from Mexico because it's the agave plant, and you're not going to grow it up here.
You've got people that have been tending and distilling the juices of the agave plant for 900 fucking years. Now, you ain't telling me some Peckerwood down in Brownsville got it figured out. No. If you want to drink real tequila, it's going to have that sample. It's just like a Cuban.
Exactly. They do have products. Well, not now with the cartels and all the political nonsense, but you know good and well. You take your wife or your girlfriend down that way, and they want to go across the border and shop because everything's handmade. And they want to argue with you about the price, which they enjoy doing, and you come back, I got Mexican stuff. I'm sitting on Mexican tile right now, okay? Right now.
Yes, you are. Yeah, you got little robots trying to figure out how to clean it.
Yeah, I got little robots trying to figure out how to clean it. The Mexicans don't make no robots, they make the tile.
No, they make Mexican.
Yep.
So,
I never have married a Mexican girl. I think Mrs. Witt, number 7, I might marry a Mexican. What do you think?
I don't think you'd like it. But that's the thing. I mean, I've spent a little time around Mexican girls, and it was some of the best time I ever spent. But two things. One, it was in her country, and two, she was really young and beautiful. She really wasn't into much of anything except for riding a 4-wheeler around
Well, when I married Brenda, this is going to shock a lot of people, but the age of consent in Mexico back then was like 10, okay?
Yeah.
So her being 16, about 17 the next day didn't bother them at all. But what bothered them was we had to prove we were legitimate in order to get a real marriage performed. If you're a bastard, they wouldn't marry you. Your mom and dad had to be married, and you had to be able to prove it. And Brenda had her military ID for her dad, and I had my driver's license, and my mom and dad were right there. So we could prove as soon as they ascertained that, then I can truthfully say the whole town turned out for the wedding. The whole town. They had to take the doors. The doors didn't have hinges on them, so the men came and picked the doors up and laid them on the side of the building. And then when it was all over, Sandy, which our guy, took us down there. We were about to get in the car. He said, "Where are you going?" "Oh, we're going back to Laredo." No, you've got to stay for a while. "Well, what's going on?" "The fiesta, man. The fiesta. These people are bringing their supper to you." "Oh, okay." Mexicans are wonderful people when you get to know them.
What town did you go to?
I can't remember. It was 50 miles due south of Laredo, and it wasn't on a road. I put it that way. It wasn't on. You pulled off what little pavement they had, and what's the speed limit, Sandy? Vamos! That was the speed limit. We were in this damn Studebaker, bouncing along a cow path basically, and these Mexicans were passing us at F-150s like we were parked. Like we were parked. It was great. It was great. My little brother Scott got the little Mexican boys to wash our car while we were getting married. It was great. But we weren't married, and we did change our citizenship. Viva la Mexico! I'm a little nervous that one day Trump might find out I might be a dreamer, or maybe the chief is a dreamer,
Oh, the chief is a dreamer. That'd be funny. Yeah, well, it's a little late now.
Yeah, a little late now.
Let me tell you why I think we can never have a discussion, and why if you and I can't have a discussion, then how Congress can never have a discussion about infrastructure and the new money. Okay, it's because of the budget proposal. When Trump put that $200 billion into infrastructure, which is a ridiculously small number, this was no shit in his math. His math was that would entice private business to put down another $1.5 trillion. Now that was his belief that $200 billion out there to start projects would entice private business to put down.
Well, you and I both know, having driven from Utah to Texas, we both know, coming through New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
You can close your eyes until when you hit the Texas state line because we have roads down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But New Mexico, they ain't got no roads. Like that.
Well, I can see plenty of places in America where the infrastructure sucks, and it can stay that way. Basically, things are functional for them. The real problem, and it's one nobody wants to talk about, because both sides of the aisle have good reason to keep this a secret, and that is that the rural part of America is getting overbuilt. This is something people are just not aware of. They are simple. They are simply unaware of the fact that the rural part of America is becoming overbuilt, and so all those places they say that's good, and you get out of your car, pull your car over, and walk about 100 yards away from the highway, and now you're in the middle of a fairly good sized suburb,
Yeah.
or an industrial park, some kind of
People, Terry over in North Carolina, for instance, imagine Texas is looking like the Escalante, okay? And I thought, no. You pull out of Austin. Anyway, when you from Austin to Waco is a city. Period.
Yeah.
And it's a city, and I mean, that's what's true to me about driving to the Escalante when we were going to Salt Lake. Is I had been to Oxida Well, but I came 45 minutes out of San Diego, okay? But to see a sign that says next gas 200 miles, and they weren't kidding. Next gas, and you wonder, oh, like you said quite famously. You know, when people look at this and they say, my, it sure is pretty out here, they're really saying, boy, I'm glad we got gas.
So, I don't think Trump's going to be able to talk about anything involving that budget proposal at all. I don't think he can do it, and I think the reason is that between separating the states and the Medicaid entitlements that came from Medicaid flowing into the states, preventing the states from setting up
Right.
these what do they call them? Medicaid bars. Anyway, these bars to Medicaid. Between that and the $200 trillion tax refund to the wealthy, pretty much was the reason that he wound up getting elected president.
Well, you would think one reason that I thought he'd be good in the presidential role is he was a businessman, a New York businessman, okay? You would think, if nothing else, he could pull a deal together. What was that book he wrote, The Art of the Deal? Well, come on, Mr. President, show us the art of the deal.
Well, did you read that book? Because I did.
I did not read it.
It reads like that, you know. It reads like that. It's a lot of keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Well, I hate to say that all my conservative friends be on my butt, okay? But when he walks around that long coat,
yeah,
he looks just like Michael Corleone after Clemenza pulled his brother-in-law's head off in that car.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah. And then lie to his wife, Did you kill your brother-in-law? No.
Did you ever watch True Detective?
I've seen some episodes of it. I can't remember any segments or anything. I watch a lot of documentaries. I'll pull a cork on a bottle and go on YouTube and watch Iranian hangings. That's one of my favorites there. Why? They're entertaining. For me, I'm an asshole,
Is it one thing you
Well, no, they hang the men by putting the rope, the knot behind their neck, and they hang the women by putting it in front of their neck so they kick around a lot more, because they're a bunch of misogynists over there.
Why do they hang women?
They disrespect Islam. If they have a boyfriend and they're not married, if they cheat on their husband, if they go to the store without an escort, serious stuff, real serious stuff, and the Saudis just executed 37 people, chopping their heads off without a trial, and a large majority of them were executed for thinking back, not talking back, not overthrowing the government, nothing, thinking back. They had a non-Islamic thought, but they're our friends.
Over there, they're having a bloodbath right now.
Yeah. That situation I've said 100 times, we could save a lot of money and a lot of time, and we would just pull out of the Middle East and tell Putin, you handle it. And then tell the Saudis next year, how'd that work out for you?
What do you do about Israel?
Now, I'm soft on Israel, because Israel is like America, basically. Now, we have a lot of anti-Jewish people. No, they're kind of like America. They just indicted their own president for lying, and everything like that. So that's another reason we need to pull out. We don't need to be there. We got Israel. We support their whole military economy almost. All we have to do is tell them Jews handle it, and they'll handle it. And the Saudis, the Iranians, the Syrians, everybody knows what the Jews will do to them. They know it. They do it every day. You don't shoot a bottle rocket into Israel. They don't send a B-52 after you. They'll handle it. That's why they're there. You know? Now, all this biblical stuff about God gave them the land, no, I don't buy any of that crap, you know. Okay, God gave them the land. Okay, well, Harry Truman gave it back to them. Okay, now that's to be perfectly blunt. All right, they can hold on to it. Every country in the Middle East jumped on Israel, and 6 days later, Israel was a lot bigger, and every country in the Middle East had gone home.
You know who seems to be remarkably unaffected by this cataclysmic war that's been being fought now for about 7,000 years between the sons of Shem, who believe that they're the ones who have the legitimate. In other words, Islam and Judaism.
Right.
What I now call Judeo-Christianity.
Right. Right.
So everybody seems to be getting ripped apart by this, except Norway, Iceland.
Absolutely. We're one of our writers living right there in Amsterdam. And, Daniel, when he slapped the piss out of that Muslim about a month ago, and the police showed up, nobody had ever considered the possibility that when a man starts cussing a young woman, for not getting up and giving him her seat, and a Texan comes along and knocks him out, they all look at each other like, wow, we never thought of that solution. That's right, you didn't. That's right, you didn't.
You know, those are all countries, too, that have solved a lot of their major problems. Like, here's a great way to solve infrastructure. On a smaller than average scale.
Right.
I think it's got to be done on a smaller than average scale. But if you do it on a smaller than average scale, things like public transportation and roads, you know, that would be awesome. But if you go to California and you drive up north into say Ontario, Orange County, in that area right there, then you see that whole place is put together. That entire 300 square mile piece of American geography is put together by the idea that you're going to have a home 60 to 90 miles away from you.
Right.
And you're going to drive that car back and forth every fucking day from your job to your home. And you're also going to drive your car back and forth from your home or your job to other places that you got to go, like the school to pick up the kids or band practice or whatever. You know. So, yeah. I don't know, Billy.
Well, we tangle with this. I'm gonna. Pam's been bumping me and calling me. I'm gonna have to call her back and see what we're gonna do. See what we're gonna do about Puck. You know, the biter and everything.
Yeah. Did you see that picture of that baby with the bite marks all over it or something?
No, not yet. Man, I get one thing. I see. Sometimes I see the CPS's angle and everything.
Yeah.
When, like, they just got to give 60 years apiece to a couple in federal court in Waco from this area right here for having sex with a baby of 6 months old and recording it and selling the videos online to people who wanted to watch it. And I'm an asshole. I've done some shit in my life, but it's always been all of my sexual contacts, including wives, have been within 3 years of my age either way, okay? I never considered having an affair with a baby in diapers. I cannot see. I just can't see it. I can't imagine why would you do that, and why would you film it and put it out there so the FBI can come down on you? You ought to get 60 years for being a dumbass.
Well, why is this happening? I mean,
It's a lot of it. See, that's what I'm saying. It used to, like Leopold and Loeb back in the 30s, two rich kids that killed that 8-year-old boy just to see what it felt like to kill somebody. And that was a big shock. The big shock before that was Lizzie Borden, 50 or 60 years before. Now it's every day, every week. People like the trucker that saved that teenage girl up in Colorado, I think it was, a few days ago, where he simply saw what he didn't think was right in a van and carrying his own, called the police, or like at least 2 times where a teenage girl, now the one in Tennessee, the teacher, fell in love with one of his 15-year-old students and ended up in California, and the FBI, you want to know what's wrong with the FBI? Let me tell you what's wrong with the FBI. Okay, all this crap, we're doing this, we're doing that, and Comey's this, and he's a good guy, and all that. No, idiots. No, idiots. What it basically boils down to is this guy picked up his 15-year-old girlfriend. He tripped across the country, stayed in 4-star motels, tried to get a boat and go to Mexico, ended up in a cabin up in Northern California in the Red Oak area, and a hippie and a local sheriff caught him. You didn't catch it. I feel so served and protected. No wonder Kennedy got his head shot off.
oh, here's a good one. School bus driver receives no jail time.
I screenshotted that. Yeah, that's another motherfucker right there. He screwed one of the girls on the bus. But, he hadn't screwed any other little girls, so, shit happens. Shit happens. Right.
What on earth? What on earth, really?
Yeah. I got a picture of the back of the bus.
School bus, do you think?
I got a picture of the back of the bus, and but now they go the other extreme, right? The other extreme. Some kid's 19 years old, and he has a 15-year-old girlfriend. Gee, I've never heard of that happening. And they catch him, and he gets 20 years in prison. I know an example of that. I can't remember the kid's name. One of my brother's in-laws. He was like 18, 19. He was dating this 16, 17-year-old girl. The parents got mad. Off to prison he went for 3 years. He got out, and guess what happened? He got married to the girl. She waited on him. By that time, she was 18, told her parents to go screw herself and married her boyfriend. But this bus driver can have an affair with a 14-year-old girl, and he's in his 30s or 40s. Well, she was coming on to him, man. That's what, I mean,
The thing is, look, there's a pattern to this. He made friends with the kids. He bought the kids on the bus gifts. He invited the girls and other minors to his home. He gave them alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so this wasn't, I was just suddenly overcome by an irresistible urge.
Right. He planned it. And, what? I told you the story 100 times and everything, but when I took my Mercedes with the top down and got gas at the Valero, and it's right across the street from the high school, and kids got, old guy with hair down to his dang waist and a beard and in a Mercedes with the top down, they're going to come over and say hi. And they did. And this one very cute little black chick, okay, came over and she laid her hand on the door and, wow, this is a nice car. I said, yes, it is. How'd you buy this? I was in the music business. I've had it for 15 years. Wow. Can I get a ride across the street to the school? Well, no, you could, but there's something wrong with your skin. And she thought I was being racist, right? And she goes, what's wrong with my skin? I said, your skin is 16 years old. There's no way this bus driver can say when he bought the first popsicle that wasn't on his mind. No way. And I could see the school across the street. I wouldn't even take her to the parking lot. Wow.
Leonardo DiCaprio's ex-wife files for bankruptcy says she made less than $3,000. We're not the only one.
I love it when these rich folks. I mean, oh, I had fun. One day, me and Jackie were sitting down there in Berry Creek eating breakfast at the country club, you know. And within the next lunar month, that's when I went out there and the little biker said, "You like coffee? Yeah, sure. Yeah. You want cream and sugar? Oh, yeah, me too." You know, I know what it's like to fall from the mountain to the valley. But I just became a writer. Oh, this shit's interesting. I might be able to sell it to somebody. Well, I am going to get to work because I got something to work on. I got something to work on now. Hey, guess what?
What's that?
You just made your second radio show.
Oh, we could possibly have done
Yeah.
radio shows.
You already did.
Okay.
You already did. Hey, it was so good. About an hour ago, I said, record. And I've been sitting here watching it go, and I laid it out for stuff that's embarrassing. You know, but we covered some good ground today.
Well, that's good. I am, and I got a good start on that.
Good. When's this? People ask me about that stoned woman, man.
Yeah, I'm going to pick back up on
You
that.
need to pick up Stone Woman again because the Navajos out there getting mad at your ass.
We can't be having that.
Yeah, they hit me every day. Please post. You know, they're wondering what Porter's out there trying to shoot people, and Stone's woman has turned her cat into a mountain lion and all that kind of stuff, and he just left everybody hanging. You know, you can't do that.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to work on the hard target first.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
All right, I'll call you later.